Beyond Buzzwords, how artificial intelligence is delivering real value in the supply chain. Well, joining me today to speak about that, Alexandra Griffin, co-founder and CEO of BlueCargo. Alexandra, it's great to see you once again. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Russell. It's nice to be here.
You know, it's clear that AI is something that everybody is concerned with right now, not just here at Manifest, but all throughout supply chain operations around the world. But let's sort of talk about reality in terms of adoption of AI. Do you have some numbers that might, indicate to us what the real story is? How many people are actually employing it?
Yeah, those are great questions, specifically because we're at Manifest. We heard about AI on every talk and panel throughout the last 3 days. So just to quote DHL CEO on a panel, he was saying companies using AI will be 3 times more efficient than companies not using AI. We had another one which was just simply companies not using AI will just die and lose on the market. So where are we today? And just to quote maybe a couple numbers from McKinsey. First one is that AI is supposed to be able to bring 1.5 trillion of saving and efficiency opportunity in the supply chain. So the opportunity is massive. Now let's look at adoption. As you said, so the number of companies that say they're willing to implement AI in the next couple of years, that's 60% of what people answers. But the number that really have implemented and leveraged AI today is only 20%. So there's a huge gap. We can give example of like the gaps in different sectors, but that's high level in the supply chain.
That $1.5 trillion in savings that was talked about at that lecture, at that presentation, is that this year or over a period of years? What's the time frame that the gentleman was talking about?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's like the opportunity. So what AI could deliver, definitely don't think that would be in 1 year. So over time.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But nevertheless, 20% of the folks, in supply chain are utilizing AI some kind of way today.
Yeah.
So it's at least a growth of 40% or more, maybe as much as 60%, will be utilizing this, in, just another 2 or 3 years or so.
100%. And I think conferences like this just continue like explaining with real use cases, which is what we're going to talk about next, like getting into one example.
Yeah.
But like companies can just walk through the floor, see like there's actually booths that have an AI agent in action where you can see a video, a demonstration, and see the benefits that can materialize in the supply chain.
Well, one of the areas that we want to talk about is in freight audit. And we want to talk about it generally, but specifically, we want to talk about it in terms of AI application and how it is affecting that world. So walk us through that. What would you say?
100%. So first, I think freight audit is one of the best first natural use cases for AI. I will explain why. The state of the current market of freight audit today is not leveraging it yet. So the state of the market, and we conducted a poll at BlueCargo, so among about 100 shippers that we work with or that we're gonna work with, and we asked them like before BlueCargo, what were you using? And 80% of the answer was still like a manual audit. So like 80% of the market still runs on performing freight audit manually, like reviewing every line item of the invoice, which is very cumbersome. So that's the state of the market today. Now, the current solutions, and especially when we talk about freight in the market that is that dynamic, most of the existing solutions do what we call a static match. So they look at your bill, at your invoice, and they look at your rates and all your contractual terms, and they match them one-to-one. So this basically is very static and basic. It can only unlock a certain number of line items. What AI can bring is actually look at many more parameters and move to what we call a dynamic audit. So Dynamic audit is when you track the container through its whole journey, and you can encompass like every movement of the container to actually check if the data are right, but also like whose responsibility was it if there was a latency in the process. Is it because a terminal was closed? Is it because the trucker didn't have enough spots in their yard? So what's the root cause that caused that fee? And then you can start leveraging like real conversations empowered with data with your vendors. So the case for AI in freight audit, there's like four main spots where AI can like streamline the whole process. It starts with document processing. So first thing, you receive an invoice. In many cases, it's like a PDF in an email. In some other cases, you have ADIs, like depending on the level of connection. But all of that is a perfect use case for AI that can ingest all the documents and spit out all the text in a formatted way in any system that the company use. The second piece is like right management. So companies have to manage like hundreds and thousands of rights. Like just one of our customer, when we look at just their dryage rates, it's in the 50,000 number of rights we have to manage. So then you have dryage, you have ocean, you have accessorials, you have storage. So managing all those rights is part of the complexity in the supply chain today. And so having the AI to manage those rights is the second best use case for the AI agent. Third one is the claim process. So we know when we identify a gap in the freight audits, this is where you have to have a negotiation and provide evidence and support. So all of it can also be a case of automation with AI, with like an AI dispute agent. And the last one of these four parts is basically your vendor negotiation and management. So having those insights in the data to the line item level that tells you, okay, this lane was not performing well. How can I have a strategic conversation? And so basically we can have imagine those four AI agents working together and really building a freight audit AI. And all these four components are exactly use cases of what generative AI has been made for.
You know, in a moment, I want to ask you to tell us a little something about BlueCargo itself. But before we get to that, you tell me that one can start implementing AI within 90 days. Now, I need to know how you do that. So briefly walk me and the viewer of the video through that. How does that happen?
Yeah, I think that's really important for every companies right now to do like at least 4 key steps to start implementing AI in 90 days, as you said. So first one is like establishing a budget for testing. You need to start testing. Like we have this team, we have an R&D team working on just AI agents that develops a pilot every 2 weeks just to be able to see all the applications where AI can exist. So like first, unlock a budget. It starts with this. Second, identify the key initiatives. So what are the 3 things that we want AI to be focused on and test AI on? So what are the key strategic initiatives for your company and which one can apply AI? And basically the case is that I think freight audit is a perfect application of AI technology. Third one, so it's really about where are you today and setting up a goal for where you want to be in terms of like AI adoption. I think one really important thing and like one common pitfall is that to use AI today, you don't need any PhD. You don't need to like go hire AI specialist or like PhD in machine learning. This is a common pitfall. It costs a lot of money when there's like companies like OpenAI or Microsoft that I think OpenAI has like 15 billion plan of investment this year and Microsoft 25 billion in like developing their AI agents. So there's an open source solution. Don't reinvent the wheel. Like no supply chain company is gonna like build a better structural model than OpenAI. So just use the models that are existing and the startups or the companies that are proposing AI use cases. So yeah, I think that's really important and a common pitfall.
Well, also what's important is to give us just a little look into BlueCargo itself. So that's the final question to you. Briefly tell us, what's the focus of the company? What does it do?
Absolutely. So our motto is put audit on autopilot so that you can focus on what matters. So that tells you what we do. We're basically an AI-powered freight audit and spend management solution. And today AI cannot do 100%. So we're still in this world in the next like 4 or 5 years where it's basically AI powered with a human in the loop. So that's what BlueCargo does. So in the end, we provide an end-to-end solution to freight audit where companies don't have to like do the manual review the audit queues like with incumbent solution that can't do the end-to-end. So that's what BlueCargo does. The company is about 6 years old. We're based in Los Angeles, Long Beach, and New York, New Jersey. And basically our background was in port terminals and like specifically container logistics. So we capture all the milestones of the movement of a container, and we're able to audit the bills based on the actual operational milestones, so we can understand the most complicated fees like accessorial fees, per diem, detention, demurrage, yard storage, chassis split, all those fees that in the past were falling into the exception queue because again, the current solutions are like static match and not dynamic match made for the supply chain.
Well, that is probably the greatest look, obviously, into BlueCargo, but it's one of the deepest dives I've ever seen in artificial intelligence. And I really appreciate your finding the time to sit down and speak with us about it today.
Thank you for the
Thank
opportunity.
you. Alexandra Griffin, BlueCargo, speaking with us today about delivering AI, delivering real value in your supply chain. Thanks for watching.